you got the cowtails for me? I swear, the last few times I've walked to the gas station, they were all out. Sweet. Thanks again for picking up the snacks for tonight. How much longer till we get there? Actually, I'll just call you when we're almost down the street. Is that cool? Okay. Bye, sunshine. Also, your partner says hi. Noah, I know how to flirt with my own partner.
Still, you need some sort of sustenance if you're not going to have blood tonight. If you know what's good for you, move along. So you are vivified. That would pose a level of difficulty if I needed to dispose of you, but it's far from. I don't appreciate humans staring, especially if they're eyeing what's mine. I never claimed they couldn't. If I wanted to find a way to blind this human charmer, I would have. After all, you know I'm in this realm. But fine, I'll cease my active antagonizing for now. You realize I can hear you, charmer, yes? I'll play nice as long as our new friend here doesn't do anything reckless. Is that a worthwhile compromise for you? I was speaking with my lover. If I want to hear you speak, I'll tell you to. Oh, hush. I'm well aware you enjoy a show of my domination, even when directed elsewhere. Or do you forget I can feel that allure coursing through your soul as we speak? I'll behave as much as I'm called to. Now go. You said you didn't want us to wander for too long tonight. You're staring again. How did I do what, exactly? The limitations of most cupids don't typically apply to me. Whether that's due to my age or my status is left to interpretation. But don't misunderstand my intentions. You hear my thoughts now only because I allow it. And if I wanted to, I could yank yours out of your mind with ease. But alas, I did make a promise just now, didn't I? And it seems as though you have more questions building. It would only be an interrogation if it was unwanted, or if you held any sort of power above me, neither of which apply to our current conversation. Besides, I'm well aware of the rarity cupids are to most humans. You know a cupid. Now that is certainly a surprise. In my experience, even vivified humans aren't necessarily drawn to us. But having two as friends, no wonder you were foolish enough to stare me down. The apology's not needed. My piqued interest in you absolves you of any frustration I may have had initially. The telepathy is a unique gift, but it's one I hold because of the nature of my specialties. Desire shifting works best when presented to one's mind as intimately as possible, and memory modification without being able to peer into the mind would be a bit lackluster at best. When my work was at its zenith, I utilized both quite a bit. Now I use it recreationally, let's say. But in the past few months, I've been making efforts to return to the work I once did. You'd be surprised how often you humans need saving from yourself. But I don't think someone should ruin their own life just because they're blinded by pain and emotion. And, in the case of stagnant humans who can't see me in this form, if I need to embody that little voice in their head, so be it. Tell me, these cupids in your life, is one of them your lover? Ah, that's what I'm sensing then. The affection you hold for them is quite unique. Its taste isn't something I partake in very often. Far from it. The care and admiration you hold for the two of them is rather refreshing to encounter. After all, why should romantic lovers be the only ones allowed deep attachment? The vampire currently inside is my lover, yes. I don't make a habit out of laying claim to strangers. Well, with the exception of imminent danger being involved. But as I told you previously, I'm the one you should be concerned with in that regard. Roughly 8 months, though we've been living together for far longer. I think I am. Happy, that is, to be in this realm, not only with your human agencies in mind, but as someone who has been alive for quite some time. Finding someone I'm willing to grow with again is nice. Admittedly, I found them strange at best when we first met. I mean, what kind of sane human being invites a stranger to join their home? Sure, we first met while I was sporting an injury, but we'd spoken only a handful of times when they extended that invitation. And yet, so quickly, they had determined that they wanted to stave off loneliness with me. There wasn't a hint of hesitation or uncertainty when they asked either. Fangs extended in poorly hid excitement and hope that I'd say yes. It was adorable, and so I obliged, and slowly but surely we grew closer and closer. Their attraction began to mix and shift, and I waited patiently for the day when they would do something about it, rather than pining from afar. Though, it was fun to bridge the gap after a while. And now, here we are, molded into something we couldn't have become without one another. I will caution you against using this meeting as reference to the eloquence or waxing poetics of Cupid kind. Trust me, many of my brethren are not of that variety. Good to hear. Now, what an interesting question to ask a stranger. Is that something you truly want an answer to? I am indeed a fallen Cupid. Was it the markings spread to my arm that gave it away, or something else? Observant and capable of sound discernment, I think I like you. How did one such as yourself come to know about something of that nature? And what did this friend of yours say about Cupids such as myself, those of us who have fallen from sanctity and strayed from our paths? Do I frighten you, human? Is that so? Ah, while that perspective is sweet and well intentioned, I do fear there is a slight flaw in it. Yes, there are many fallen cupids whose descent was circumstantial, slight, ultimately out of their control and such. And for those, I do feel a pang of sympathy. It'd be akin to waking up one day and discovering you've been stained against your will, and no matter how much scrubbing or cleaning you attempt, the stain won't disappear. I imagine it be debilitating. But my descent? uh, the reason why I'm fallen, my friend, is because I tried to kill someone of my own kind with my bare hands. And I'd do it all over again if necessary. I don't regret my choice in the slightest, and these markings are proof of that. I can feel your emotions having quite the time. To simplify the story, for your sake, a Cupid I knew came to me for advice. They knew of another Cupid using our abilities to keep a human dependent on him. When they tried to reach out to the council for guidance, they were told that what he did broke no rules. Because they had merely attempted to get him reprimanded, he cornered them and got physically violent, grabbed them by the throat, and hit them in the stomach. And then, word of that encounter reached my ears. I assured them that I would handle the situation, and I did. I gave him one chance, somewhere private, to admit to what he'd done. But it was obvious the council's ruling had filled him with an air of arrogance and invincibility. So I took the blade I had on my person, and I slashed across his neck before digging it into his flesh. And when other cupids came to see what had happened, having heard his screams, I turned towards them with blood running down my arm, and I simply told them I knew my way to the council's chambers. Realizing I had severed my ties to the council's judgment and rules permanently was the most free I've ever felt. And I'll take my exile in stride if it means I never have to see those counselors again. Can I gift you with a piece of advice for that wayward friend you mentioned? You're under no obligation to pass along my words. Tell him if you wish, or keep it to yourself. But let it be known, he's better off falling. I can assure him of that. And there's my love. Did you get enough food to replenish your strength? I could have sworn you said something about wanting a third round. I suppose I'll have to wait till we're home then. I don't believe I got your name in all the time we've been out here talking. That's quite the nickname. If we ever meet again, I am Eritus. Consider me a third Cupid in your corner. Oh, before we make our departure, I did have one more question I wanted to ask you. You wouldn't happen to know a Cupid by the name of Mariangela, would you? Or perhaps in this realm, you would have known them by the name Solstice. Is that so? Is she doing well? They deserve that more than any Cupid I know. I wish her well. Now then, come on, Charmer. I do believe we have a conversation to pick back up on. After all, You were rather mouthy once you got my blood into your system. Should I take those taunts and bets at face value, or...
Hi, we're 2 minutes away now. You know they were repairing that road for a few days.